Hello everyone and welcome to Cinderful Gaming. In today's video we're going to look at getting started with the Old Dominion in Conquest First Blood, using the contents of the faction's half of the First Blood starter set. Big thanks to Parabellum Wargames today, who have made this video possible with their fantastic support. They've given us a discount affiliate code to use, which will get you 10% off your purchases from the Parabellum Wargames e-store, and also go a long way to help supporting the channel while you grab that discount for yourself as well. Leading this box set is the Zealot. Now, the Zealot is a pretty competent combat character with 6 wounds, 5 attacks, and a clash of 3. It's also got cleave 1, meaning it ignores a point of your opponent's armor when it attacks as well. Now, we do have the animate vessel rule here. This is a rule we're going to have for a ton of different units in the Old Dominion. What this means is all regiments and models in the army with this rule may not perform inspire actions. However, regiments receive the benefit of inspiration when completing a successful charge or any other special rule that will allow them to count as inspired as such. In addition, regiments with the animate special rule do not have a resolve characteristic and are always considered to have passed them. And a character model with the animate vessel special rule does not conserve revolve characteristic to regiments within its command range. However, regiments with this special rule may still be broken as normal. So essentially this gives you some really good defensive buffs. It allows you to ignore a bunch of resolve checks, but also doesn't allow you to inspire outside of the ways that sort of automatically make you inspire in the game, charging, etc. Now, other than that, we've got Leader of 1000, where while this character is in range of an objective, all other friendly Legionnaire and Praetorian models in the army, of which we get in this box set and we'll talk about later, they'll count as 2 models for the purposes of seizing objectives. The Pentarchoi rule means Legionnaire and Praetorian Guard models get a free standard of 6 models instead of 12. An Eternal Discipline, the character model, does not become provoked as a result of it being the target of a challenge action and does not suffer any negative effects for doing so. In addition, models in its regiment gain Terrifying 1. Now, we've got a few command abilities, and the Zealot actually can use 2 different command abilities each round. The first of these is Obdurate Bone and Stone, where target friendly Legionnaire or Praetorian Guard can perform 2 clash actions in this next activation. Transient Glory means target friendly regiment can gain the benefit of Inspired. We've got Well-Timed Strike, where target friendly regiment rerolls hits, and Glimmers of a Golden Age, for target friendly regiment may use their Memory of Old action as if it were a draw event. We'll talk about them in just a sec. Now onto our units, and we have 2 different dual kits in the box set, and the first one of these are our Legionaries. Now, these models have shields, which goes nicely with a defense of 1 to give them defense 2 in there as well. And then you've also got support, meaning they can actually strike while behind other models thanks to their spears. You've got Animate Vessel, which is pretty much a rule you'll see upon everything within the army. And they've got a Memories of Old ability. This is part of the army faction ability, and essentially an ability that can gain during the game, where models in this regiment within range of an objective cannot be the target of impact or hits until the end of the regiment's next activation, which is pretty cool. The alternate build for the Legionaries are the Praetorian Guard. These sword wielders still have shields, so you've got that nice defense, but they actually have a base defense of 2, so you go up to defense 3 with that shield. And you've got your clash of 2 and 2 attacks and 2 wounds each as well. Memories of Old gives shield wall tactics while this regiment is engaging an enemy regiment. When another friendly regiment performs a disengage, it does not receive any attacks of opportunity and does not become broken. So this is pretty cool. It allows your other units to sort of disengage so long as the Praetorian Guard are holding the line. Next, we move on to our and other units of undead, and the first of these are the Kerras. These are a Priest 3 units. They're actually a magic using unit, which is really cool. They've got a ranged attack with Sure Shot, which Sure Shot means models with a special rule never count their volleys as obscured by regiments or terrain. However, incantations and other effects still obscure targets from them. And they've got a couple of attacks when they do that shooting. They're also Terrifying 1 in there as well. And their incantations, first of all, a Blasphemous Miasma. This targets a single non-character, non-officer model and non-monster, and it loses its engagement range aura until the end of its next activation. Madness, on the other hand, inflicts 2 hits per success of its attunement of 3, and target enemy regiment rolls defense using their lowest unmodified resolve characteristic as a defense mechanic against it. Now, Memories of Old is going to mean it gains a Priest +2. And the regiment also can perform a spellcasting action during its activation. The acting leader of the regiment is considered to be the model casting incantations. They don't actually have a champion model within their unit, so you sort of pick one that is going to be such a model. Now the alternate build to the Carer's kit are the Moroi. Moroi, once again, are a Priest 3 unit with Animate, Vessel and Terrifying, as we've already talked about. And they can perform a spellcasting action in much the same manner as the Carers. They don't have any range attacks though, so they do have a better sort of combat profile. Memories of Old actually gives them Cleave 1 and Priest +2, so actually a better Memories of Old than the Carers, but they've also got a couple of incantations. First of all, Pyrosis, which gives the unit Aura of Death, and Ashes to Ashes, which can allow a unit to perform a disengage action without becoming broken. Both of these are really solid abilities to have access to. Being able to sort of move around with Ashes to Ashes is super powerful, and Pyrosis as well, allowing the unit to gain Aura of Death 6 is nice. Aura of Death sort of inflicting damage on an enemy unit if it activates near your models at any time. Now looking at where to go next, we're going to bring in some big heavy hitters and also some really tanky models in the form of Bone Golems. Bone Golems for me are one of my favourite models for the faction. They've got a nice 4 attacks and 6 wounds and defense 3 base. Now this is further bolstered by the fact that they've got Cleave 2 on their attacks, meaning they'll negate your opponent's armor saves by 2, Aura of Death 6, as we just talked about Aura of Death. It's a good ability to have to get some extra damage through. When they charge, they've got Impact 2, so they can do damage on the charge, and Hardened 1 as well means they actually ignore things like Cleave and Brutal Impact and stuff like that by 1 point. Their Memories of Old ability means models in the regiment within range of an objective count as 6 models for the purposes of seizing as well. So all of this combined, like, you've got a unit that is a versatile all-rounder, but more than anything, it's just going to be an absolute tank that is super hard to deal with without taking some significant damage itself. And so for our Old Dominion list today, let's go check out what we're going to be taking. And so, first of all, leading our force, we have our Zealot. Now we had a few points spare, so we've gone to give the model Severian's Dagger. This is one of the many different upgrades we can give, and the weapon gives our fighter a bunch of different rules. Flurry for some re-rolls to hit. We've then got Parry in there for all hit rolls of 1 made against the model. With the special rule, have to be re-rolled. And then we've also got Deadly Blades, which means when a model with a special rule performs a clash or challenge, any failed defense rolls of 6 by the target cause 2 wounds instead of 1. Now moving on to regiments, first of all we have our Carers. We've got 8 models in the unit. Now the reason we've gone for 8 and 4 as our split of the models in the set is so they're easier to stack up as regiments when we want to play a full game of Conquest: The Last Argument of Kings. For the same reason, we've got a unit of Legionnaires with 8 models, and then we've got a unit of Moroi with 4 models, a unit of Praetorian Guard with 4 models, and a unit of 2 Bone Golems. We hope that this video was helpful in getting you started with Conquest: The Last Argument of Kings, and that it was able to give you some ideas and inspiration to start your own force in the game. If you have any other questions at all, please comment down below. And while you're there, don't forget to drop a like, subscribe, and join our Discord server to check out all our future Conquest: The Last Argument of Kings content.